Brooks,
Yeah,
should I be able to hear you? Because I can't hear you.
yeah, you should be able to hear me. Everyone else is.
What?
Turn your volume up.
I can't hear.
Hello, everyone, for joining us. I know we will get a lot of questions about if this is being recorded. It absolutely is. We'll get started here in a couple minutes. People are still trickling in. We've got plenty of time here, but just wanted to let you know that this is being recorded. We will have it posted in the next couple days for everyone, but um, just wanna let you guys know that we're gonna get started here in a few minutes. Hopefully, I don't take the full hour. We have a lot of people in here to answer your questions. There's 8 people from the Financial Aid and Scholarship Office to help you. Um, to help answer your questions as we go, feel free to shoot those questions to that Q&A function down at the bottom rather than the chat. It's a little easier to shoot those questions to the Q&A, easier for us to answer them in the Q&A that way rather than through the chat. So, and again, you can make them a little more private in the Q&A also. But we'll get started here in a few minutes. Absolutely being recorded. That Q&A is going to be your best bet when sending those questions to us as we go. But hopefully, I get your questions answered, so you don't need the Q&A. But again, Q&A rather than the chat. They'll both be available to you, but I'll send some links in the chat as we go. But the Q&A is going to be where you send your questions. Going here probably like 6:05 or so. Still got a lot of people joining us. So. All right, hello. Some of you are just now arriving. We'll get started here in a couple minutes. Again, shoot your questions to that Q&A function. We've got 8 people here and working that. They'll all have FAS, Financial Aid and Scholarships, after their name, so you know that's not a random person answering your questions, but people from all over the office and a couple of different offices or different groups within our office to answer those questions. So again, give us a couple more minutes. Let some more people trickle in here. But yeah, use that Q&A function. And again, this will be recorded. We'll have it posted on the website where you signed up for this. I'll send that as part of something we do as we go here. But yeah, absolutely. Give us one more minute and we'll get started here on everything that you need to know. All right, let's get started here. Again, one more time, just for people just now joining, shoot your questions to Q&A. Eight of us in the financial aid office answering your questions. We'll have FAS at the end of our name in the Q&A to know that that's a financial aid and scholarship person answering your questions. Feel free to shoot them there. Hopefully, I can answer your questions as we go. Again, you'll see today's topics right here on the first slide. We're going to talk about how to understand your financial aid offer. Things that are in that offer, what they mean, how to understand what's going on there in those letters that you were sent. And then again, how to view those online options, because some things can change between when we send those and when you get them and when you start here. So what to know what it was when we sent it and what it is when you get to us. Understanding direct versus direct cost. We'll talk about cost of attendance. You'll hear me say cost of attendance is not a bill about 10 times today, but we'll talk about that. Where to find an online copy of your award offer. Again, we print those award offers out, and then something can change. All right. So as much as we'd love to send a new letter every time something changes, it's not very cost effective or time effective. So we keep an online version for you to see. And then at the end, we'll talk about a timeline between now and your first day of class in August. And again, this presentation is kind of geared towards students starting in August, starting next fall. If you're an underclassman, add a year to all these dates and things like this between now and when you start. But yeah, let's get started here. My name is Brooks Gustafson. I'm in the financial aid office. Again, there's 8 of us here answering your questions, so feel free to shoot them to us. When you see cost of attendance, I couldn't have put it any bigger down here at the bottom. Just know cost of attendance is not your bill. This is just a 9-month budget of what your life as a student could cost, depending on where you're from, what you're signed up for at Tech, all those kind of things. We average all of these costs across all 41,000 students on campus. So some of these may be bigger than what the average student is spending, maybe smaller, all those kind of things. But just know there's context to all these numbers. So when you see cost of attendance, just know that this is just helping you budget for your time as a student. It is not your bill. Okay, so context to all these numbers, and we'll get into that here in a few seconds. So tuition and fees, that number based on wherever you are coming from. So Texas residents or bordering county residents within New Mexico and Oklahoma fall into that first column. New Mexico and Oklahoma residents who are not in those bordering counties but are in those states, you fall into that second column. And then non-Texas residents, non-New Mexico, Oklahoma, Texas residents fall into that final column, non-residents. Okay, the only difference there is that tuition and fee rate. And again, we'll talk about how you pay the differences for those here in a second. But that tuition and fee rate is an average cost for 15 hours in the fall, 15 hours in the spring. So if you're taking more than 15, less than 15 different labs, all those kind of things can change what that tuition and fee rate is. But this is a pretty good place to start. 15 hours in the fall, 15 hours in the spring. So with all of these numbers, break them in half. Just know that half of that is going to be for the fall semester and half is going to be for the spring. These are yearly totals. Housing, that is an average cost of all the different dorm rooms on campus for your first year as a student when you're living on campus as a freshman. So housing can mean a lot of different things. There's off-campus housing, there's on-campus housing. We kind of average all that together here with this housing dollar amounts. Again, the biggest, nicest, fanciest dorm room might be a little more expensive than this $7,075 amount. A traditional 2-bedroom with the bathroom down at the end of the hall like you see in a movie, those kind of things are going to be a little less expensive than this $7,075 that we have listed here. But again, whatever you sign up for is what you will be billed. And we'll talk about when you actually get your real bill here at the end. Meals, that is based on our biggest meal plan on campus. So when we created that is based on 3 meals a day, 7 days a week in the dining halls on campus. A traditional student's going to wake up 5 minutes before class, run across campus with a Pop-Tart in your hand. You may not need the biggest meal plan. You may not be eating all 3 meals 7 days a week in the dorm room or in the dining halls on campus. So again, this is our biggest one. There's a smaller option that most of our students do, but before this, we have to budget that biggest meal plan for meals, all 3 meals a day, 7 days a week. So again, context to that number, right? Books and supplies is just everything that you need to be successful in the classes that you're taking. So for some classes, that'll just be a textbook. If you're an architect or an engineer, you may have some computer software things that you need to do your homework. That kind of stuff is all built into that books and supplies, kind of everything that you need to be successful in the classes that you're taking. Again, if you're spending $600 a semester on books and supplies, you're not trying very hard to find a deal. There's so many different options out there for shopping these. Back in the day, there was only one place to buy your books and you were paying whatever they were charging. Nowadays, there's 3 or 4 options on campus. There's a couple of off campus. There's online copies. Some professors don't even require the books. So go to that first day of class. Ask them if you need those textbooks. My granddad taught on campus for 40 years. He said he was smarter than the guy that wrote the book for his class. So He didn't require it. So again, before you go out and buy all your books, ask those professors what is needed versus what they list in the syllabus. Okay, and then the next line here, transportation. That is your cost to get from home to campus, around campus while you're here from August to May, and then back home. And again, the trip home for Thanksgiving, over Christmas break, spring break, those kind of things are built into that transportation too. This number is going to be very specific to you and where you're from and how you're getting to campus. I grew up right here in Lubbock, so my transportation from home to school was 10 minutes. I'm sure there's Dallas and Houston and kids from all over the country in here today. Just know that transportation cost is nothing that you're paying to us. That's just a number that we help budget. Again, we average that across all 41,000 we have on campus. So that number can be skewed one way or the other. If you're down the street, your transportation cost is not going to be $2,700. And if you're from Maine, it may be different, right? And that transportation cost can be 4 or 5 round trip plane tickets if you want it to be that. It can be gas for the car, oil changes, tire rotations, whatever else it may be. Okay, so when you see that transportation cost, know that that's going to be very specific to you and how you're getting to and from school. Miscellaneous costs, just kind of everything else. So anything you do as a student that's not covered in those other things, and then the shampoo and toothpaste and whatever else you may need in your time as a student. Okay, so when you see this cost of attendance number, 29,000, 30,000, or 41, whatever it may be, just know that there's context to all of these, and it's not the amount that you are paying specifically to Texas Tech. Just a thing that we have to create to help you budget for the things that you're going to do at Tech. Okay, so when you see on your award offer, we have a few examples that we'll go over here. We'll talk about direct costs versus indirect costs. So as a freshman, the things that you are paying for are your classes, and if you're living on campus, most of you freshmen will be. You will be in a dorm room and you will have a meal plan. So your direct costs to Texas Tech are going to be your classes, your dorm room, your meal plan. Okay, and again, there's context to all those numbers, whichever one you pick, however many hours you sign up for. But just know when you see direct costs, those are things that you are paying directly to Texas Tech, rather than things that you need to plan for. So when you see indirect costs, things in the red box here, those are things that you will pay for outside of your time as a student, but nothing that you are paying specific to Tech. Obviously, we're not going to charge you gas for your car, charge you plane tickets, those kind of things. Those are things that you need to plan for on your own. But just these are things that we have to include, so you can budget for those things during your time as a student, getting to campus, buying the things that you need to do to be successful in your classes. But just know when you see direct cost, it's going to be those first 3 numbers. Again, these are all estimates. But this is a pretty good place to start. And then indirect cost is going to use those other 3. So there is a lot of different types of aid. Financial aid and scholarships is kind of an umbrella term for a lot of things. Grants, all you have to do is fill out the FAFSA or the TASFA. We'll talk about the FAFSA or the TASFA. We'll talk about student aid index here in a few slides. Scholarships, there's a lot of these, and we'll talk about how you apply for those. We did a specific webinar solely based on scholarships. I will link to that when we get to those slides. There's a lot of different things there, internal, external scholarships, a lot of those things. Work study, that is working on campus while you're a student here. There's a lot of different jobs on campus that you can sign up for. Those things can be found once you get here. Once you get to campus, all those jobs are posted for you to shop around. And then student loans also fall under that financial aid and scholarships umbrella. These other 2 things are things that kind of relate to financial aid. They do, help pay your bill cost, but these are things that we do not handle in our office. Okay, so military benefits, any state benefits like Hazelwood, any federal VA benefits like Chapter 31, 33, 35. I know there's a lot of different ones. I'm glad our military and veterans program office exists, so we do not have to know the ins and outs of that. But military benefits, those Hazelwoods, the post 9/11s, all those kind of things are handled by our military and veterans programs, or MVP, like it says here. And their website, mvp.ttu.edu, pretty simple to find. And then waivers, there is a lot of different waivers. There are adoption waivers, adoption and foster care waivers. If you're a valedictorian in the state of Texas, there are some waivers that come with that. If you get a competitive scholarship, through Texas Tech, you could qualify for a waiver that covers the difference in your in-state and out-of-state. There is a whole lot of different waivers. Our Student Business Service Office handles that, or SBS. I have a slide on SBS and some other things that they do. They work very closely with us. but they handle some things that you were going to do kind of around your financial aid. But again, these are all the different types of aid. We'll talk about some of them as we go here. Okay, so all of this kind of starts with filling out the FAFSA or the TASFA. Okay, so FAFSA, if you have a financial aid offer from Texas Tech, then you have done your FAFSA and we have it. If you've been offered loans through the Department of Ed, through the FAFSA, then we have those things. Okay, we wouldn't be able to send those to you if we didn't have them. Okay, so hopefully a lot of you have done this already, and this is repeat information that you already know. But the FAFSA, United States residents, federal residents can fill out the FAFSA. The TASFA, Texas Application for State Financial Aid, is for Texas residents who are not citizens or not permanent residents of the United States. So if you can fill out the FAFSA, you do not need to worry about the TASFA. Okay, so if you're not eligible for the FAFSA is a good backup plan for you. But again, don't need to do both, just the one that you qualify for. A lot of you are going to fall into that FAFSA category. The FAFSA and TASFA opened up December 1st for 25-26. Usually that opens up October 1st. So seniors in high school this time in October of your freshman year, you will fill out the FAFSA for your sophomore year. You already start planning to pay for your sophomore year pretty soon after you start your freshman year. Okay. State priority deadline of February 15th. That is the priority deadline. You can still do the FAFSA after that deadline. If you fill it out before that 15th deadline, we can kind of maximize your opportunities. But there's a lot of different things that use that deadline. And again, hopefully you've done this and you already have that FSA ID, those kind of things. But the FAFSA FSA IDs for students and their contributors, you can do that on the studentaid.gov website. All of that information that you put into the FAFSA, all that income from 2023, all those things that it asked you, pulled from the IRS, all that kind of stuff, goes into a big nasty calculation that spits out the student aid index. So everything that you put into that spits out this number. Okay, so student aid index has replaced estimated family contribution. Parents, if you have older siblings or you did the FAFSA yourself, it was called estimated family contribution before. Now it is called the student aid index. It works pretty similarly to that. The student aid index is just an index number that we use to determine financial aid eligibility. So we plug this number in to all the different federal, state, university programs to see how much aid you qualify for. The student aid index can be kind of complicated because it gets presented to you as a dollar amount. So after you complete the FAFSA, it says, hey, your SEI is $5,000 or whatever it may be. It is not the amount of money that you are paying to TAC. It's not the amount of aid you're receiving. We take that number and plug it into all the different programs to help calculate how much aid you have, how much need you have, those kind of things. But again, SEI is calculated using 2-year prior information submitted all through the FAFSA and the TASFA. All that information you put in there goes into a big formula that spits out that student aid index. So 2-year prior taxed and untaxed income, assets, benefits, household size. Again, the IRS has that stuff. They fill that out for you through the direct data exchange. But again, if you've already done the FAFSA, we have that. We've sent you a financial aid offer. Nothing you need to worry about here. Special circumstances. So because that FAFSA or TASFA, whichever one you fill out, uses 2-year prior information, we know a lot can change. So if there is anything that changes within your household that can affect your ability to pay for college, the special circumstance form is for you. These first 4 are kind of our big repeat customers when it comes to special circumstances. So loss of employment for the student or the parent. You had a job, you're making a bunch of money in that job. You got fired or you switched jobs and now you're not making as much money. This special circumstance form is for you. Okay, so we're using that 2023 tax information. If the job has changed from when you filed those taxes to now, this special circumstance form is for you. Separation or divorce. So there was 2 incomes within the household. Now there's only 1 for the parents or for the students. Then this is definitely something for you. With the proper documentation backing up what you're telling us is going on, then we can reduce one of those 2 incomes and recalculate that student aid index, hopefully qualifying you for some more aid. Medical expenses, and this is after insurance. Again, with documentation, we can help change that FAFSA information, that recalculate that student aid index, let that hopefully qualify you for some more aid. And then again, death of a spouse or parent. Again, so 2 incomes in the household. Now there's only 1. Anything that we can do to help you in paying for school, we are willing to help. Okay, I'm going to shoot a link to our special circumstance website in the chat. It is right there for you. That'll get you straight to our page. I know you can click on these links here on the screen, like I can, so send them in the chat there. Again, special circumstances can be hard. Please let us know. We'll have some contact info on the last slide for you to reach out to us. We can talk you through what is needed for those special circumstances. Anything that changes within your household that can affect your ability to pay for college, we can help. So please give us a call. A lot can change in 2 years, right? Okay, so Red Rider Guarantee. I know there was a few questions in the chat already about this. I will show you how this is awarded for students who qualify for Red Rider Guarantee. I've got one of those offers in the next couple of slides. We'll talk about it. So Red Rider Guarantee is Tech's guarantee to cover your tuition and fee costs if you meet these criteria. And it's going to be a combination of grants and scholarships and some other things. We're going to make sure all those numbers add up to cover your cost of tuition and fees. Again, no separate application. You get automatically reviewed for Red Rider Guarantee if you meet the requirements, mainly this first one, okay? If you don't meet these requirements, then you don't, we cannot review you for that Red Rider Guarantee. So hopefully you met this March 15th deadline. So admitted to TTU, so you've applied and been admitted to Texas Tech by March 15th. And then you've completed the FAFSA and sent it to us, and we've received it by March 15th. Okay, if you met these first two, then we're reviewing you for all the rest. Nothing separate you need to do, no separate applications, nothing like that. So again, if you met that March 15th deadline, we'll review you for all the rest of these things, no separate applications. So this is available to Texas residents, entering first year students, so coming straight from high school to Texas Tech, or transfer students who have an associate's degree. Family adjusted gross income of $80,000 or less. The FAFSA will tell us that. You don't have to submit anything to show us that. And then you keep that for your fall and spring by staying enrolled full time. So again, if you meet that March 15th deadline, then we are going to review you for that Red Rider Guarantee. And again, that's not like a singular dollar amount that covers your full cost of attendance. We're going to add up a few different things, things you qualify for through the FAFSA, through the state, all those kind of things we're going to add up to cover that tuition and fee cost. So it may look a little different, but again, we'll talk about that here in a few slides. But yeah, Red Rider Guarantee, no separate applications, March 15th. Okay, so Texas Tech scholarships. So there are a lot of different scholarships. There are internal scholarships from the university, from your college, from your department. There are external scholarships. We did a whole hour webinar just like this on this. I'm going to send a link to that internal and external scholarship webinar. It is in the chat right now. All of the webinars that we have done so far are going to be in this link too. So I just sent two links. The first one specific to the internal external scholarship process, everything that goes into that. And then the other one was the link to all the different webinars. There's admissions webinars at the top. Scroll down a little bit, you'll see the financial aid and scholarship webinars. So the first one, we kind of got nitty gritty on FAFSA and scholarships kind of as an overview. And then as we go down, there's a few more specific ones. But all of those things are in that thing. But just kind of overview on scholarships. If you applied to Texas Tech, then you've applied to every scholarship on campus. It's built right into your admissions application. If you haven't applied, you should now. It is open for you. The sooner you get in, the sooner all those things can start rolling, the easier your life is going to be. But again, if you've applied to the university, you've already done the scholarship application for your first year. 3 different levels of internal Texas Tech scholarships through the University Scholarship Office, which is us, your college, and your department. So 10 different colleges on campus, like 150 different programs within those colleges. So again, if you've applied, you've already done everything you need to. All those essays you wrote, the transcripts, the test scores, all those things that you put in there go into that scholarship application for your freshman year. And then each year after that will be how you'll apply to a continuing student application. So the FAFSA and the continuing student application open up on October 1st. So freshman, you start in August. On October 1st, you will start applying for stuff for your sophomore year, okay, your FAFSA and your continuing student application. We'll send you emails to remind you. We'll post it all over our social medias. All those things are available to you. Those things open. That scholarship opens on October 1st. I think it closes on February 1st. Is that right, Candace? Just fill it out over Christmas break. When you're home, got nothing to do, fill out the FAFSA. Fill out that scholarship application. And again, I sent the link in the chat to the scholarship webinar, kind of getting in depth on those things. And then the link to all the different webinars that we've done so far. All right, so this is our first financial aid offer example. I cut some things off so I can fit it on the screen. If you've been accepted, you've applied to tech, then we have probably emailed you one of these, a digital copy, and we might have even mailed a copy to you at your address. But again, if you've done the things that you need to, been admitted to tech, completed that FAFSA, send it to us, then you probably have one of these things waiting for you. If you haven't seen one, check your Texas Tech email. If you don't have one, give us a call, shoot us an email. We can go through the things, see what we're missing, or tell you where to find it. And again, we'll talk about some of those things here. So again, this is an example of one that we've already sent out for this fall. Okay, so we have estimated direct costs up here at the top. So tuition, fees, housing, meals, like we talked about earlier, and then the totals for the fall, the spring, and then the total. So for the year, again, you will pay the bill based on fall and spring as we go. Estimated indirect costs. So those things you talked about: books and supplies, transportation, miscellaneous, and then if you accept loans, there's a direct loan fee thing that we'll include in there too. But for this student here, we have estimated self-help, which is the loans that you get offered through the FAFSA. No matter the income level, we can offer FAFSA loans to you. You do not have to accept these if you don't want to. These are offered to you. If you don't want them, touch them, you don't have to, okay? We offer them to everybody. The amounts that are offered here, freshmen are offered up to $5,500. A couple of different reasons, or a couple of different options here within that. The FAFSA will tell us how much subsidized versus unsubsidized we can offer you. You will see that direct loan undergrad sub. So subsidized means that it does not accrue interest while you're a student. So if you do accept one of the two, we recommend you fill out this or accept this subsidized loan amount. If you don't need it at all, don't mess with it. But that subsidized one does not accrue any interest while you're a student. So if you accept that $3,500, then that $3,500 doesn't grow between when you accept that and when you have to pay it back after you graduate from tech. And then unsubsidized, that next one there, unsub, think unhappy, that does accrue interest after you accept it. You don't have to make payments on it until 6 months after you graduate, 6 months after your last day of school. But just know that these two things total up to $5,500. If you need these, they're available to you. I'll show you where to accept those here in a couple slides. But if you don't need those, don't feel like you have to accept those. And when you do accept them, it takes about 2 or 3 days before those are ready to pay to your bill. So don't feel like you have to make that decision. If you want them now, you can come to orientation. We can talk you through what your costs are, those kind of things, before you have to make a decision if you want to accept those or not. But if you don't need them, don't feel like you have to take them. They're just offered to you. In this estimated scholarship and gift aid section here, this student received a freshman presidential merit scholarship for $1,000, so $500 in the fall, $500 in the spring. Federal Pell Grant, so some money offered through the FAFSA. You fill out the FAFSA, that student aid index number showed us that this student qualified for some Pell Grant money. We cut that in half for the fall, half for the spring. That's what these two numbers are, $36.98 and $36.97, so totaling $73.95. And then Texas grant, that is something that you qualified for through the FAFSA, through those transcripts, you sent us all that kind of stuff. So when we total this estimated gift aid, that's that $66.98. That does not include that fall loan money. If you do accept that, then add those two together, knowing that that's what you're going to pay to your bill. Because you don't have a bill yet, and we include that this is not a bill up there on top of that slide there on these award offers, you can start planning by using that $11,604 number for the fall, that one right here, and then that's $66.98. So subtract the two, knowing that you've got however much money left over to cover out of pocket. Okay, so that can help you form a decision if you need those loans or through college savings plans or summer jobs, how are you going to pay for that remaining amount. Same for the spring here. So again, all of these numbers very much contextual to you. But so this student, we can use this $23,000 number for the year, knowing that they've got $13,000 in aid, knowing that they've got about $10,000 they need to cover out of pocket between the fall and the spring. And again, all of those cut them in the half for the fall, half for the spring. Okay, we've got 4 different options here. This student is a non-Texas resident, as you can tell by this tuition and fee amount that we have averaged here at $24,451. Again, half for the fall, half for the spring. Direct costs up here at the top, totaling at $17,904, $17,902. Indirect costs, things they need to plan for, things that they aren't paying to tech. The students didn't qualify for any subsidized loan through the FAFSA, but we can offer that 5,500 here. And then this student was awarded 2 different scholarships. So presidential merit through test scores, through GPA, and then this TTU DeWitt Jones education scholarship. So this tells me this is an out-of-state student who is part of the College of Ed. And again, they can take that gift aid amount subtracted from the total up here and know how much that they need to cover out of pocket, right? So again, these are real examples. These are things I covered up, names and addresses, so you can see that. But these are real examples of what these financial aid offers look like. Okay, again, direct cost up here at the top, indirect cost here, subsidized and unsubsidized loans are offered. If you don't need them, you don't have to take them. This student received Red Rider Guarantee, so through the Pell Grant, through some TPEG, that is some money through the state of Texas, through the university that we can offer. And then this Red Rider Guarantee amount, we made sure that this student's aid added up to the $59.26, which is conveniently that tuition fee amount that we have estimated. So through that Red Rider Guarantee, this tells me that the student completed that FAFSA by March 15th, was admitted by March 15th. So when we packaged a student, they were eligible for it. So we added up all these numbers to qualify to cover that tuition and fee amount. Okay. And again, the yearly totals over here on the right, but just know that when we send the bill, when we pay aid, we're going to do it semester by semester. I think I have one more here. So again, indirect cost, unsubsidized loan through the FAFSA, and then this student only qualified for $1,000 presidential merit. Again, through test scores, through GPA, those kind of things, 500 per semester. But yeah, that's 4 examples of financial aid offers. We can go back to those. We can reference those. We can reference those if you have any questions as we go later on. So RadarLink is where you're going to find your financial aid offer. It's where you're going to get a lot of information. A lot of things that you're going to need as a student are going to be within that RadarLink. So that is going to be where you can view your financial aid offer. So how to find that, where to view your up-to-date options as online ones, or if one of your colleges or departments awarded a scholarship after we sent you that financial aid offer, it's going to be updated on our online version here within RadarLink. If you have any missing requirements, if you have a scholarship that requires a thank you letter, you're going to find it here. If you have any verification items you need to do through the FAFSA or anything like that, it's going to be listed here. You're going to get emails saying, hey, log into RadarLink, you have something that you need to do. But again, those links are going to direct you straight to this RadarLink account. Within RadarLink, you're also going to be able to view your bill. So what your actual bill is when we send that to you, or when SBS sends that to you. That's where you're going to sign up for payment plans. We'll talk about those in a few slides. If you're making payments out of pocket, that's where you'll do that. You'll view final grades in there. You'll register for classes in there. There's a lot that goes into that RadarLink account. Okay, so this is some screenshots from a current student that works in our office here. Again, I covered up his name, but you're going to log into RadarLink and it's going to look like this information here on the left. You've got a bunch of different options here. Payroll and tax, research administration. A lot of you are not going to use those things. Everything that you're going to need is going to be within that My Tech tab. So once you log into RadarLink, My Tech is going to be the option that you want to click on. Within that, once you click that My Tech tab, registration, current term grades, transcripts, all that stuff is there. And then the Manage Finances section is where your financial aid offer is going to live. So student business services, again, I've got a couple slides on SBS here. That'll be where you can view your bill, make payments, those kind of things. To view your financial aid offer, you're going to click that student financial aid and scholarships. It's going to pull up a menu like this one here on the right. Some different things here. View and accept aid package is the one that you're going to need to get to. It's going to take you to this screen. Okay. There are, if you have any missing requirements, it's going to be listed right there on the main screen. Up at the top under aid year, make sure you were looking at the right one. As an incoming freshman, you should only have one option for your first year here. But as you continue as a student, all the years that you were a student are going to be listed there. So make sure that you were looking at the right one. Your campus should always be Texas Tech. And then to view your offer, you're going to click that offer option there. Again, on this home screen, if you have any missing requirements, so this student has accepted loans and needs to do a few things to get those to pay. But that offer button is going to get you to the screen that shows you how much aid you've been offered. Once you click on that, it'll go over cost of attendance again. And then your options to cover everything else. So any Pell, any scholarships, any Texas grants, any university grants, all those kind of things are going to be listed here for you to see. And then some of these things that may require some action on your side. So accepting loans, you may have a scholarship through a department that requires acceptance. Those kind of things are all going to be within this RadarLink screen. Okay, so this is all going to look very different for all of you, depending on what your aid looks like. But from logging into RadarLink, student financial aid and scholarships, view and accept aid package, and then click on that offer within the right aid year will get you to your aid offer if we haven't sent you one already. If you don't have anything here, then that might mean that we're missing your FAFSA, we're missing some information, those kind of things. Shoot us an email, give us a call, and we'll talk about what we are missing if we're missing anything at all. There's a few things that could go sideways between when you do those and when they get to us, and we can help talk you through what those things look like. Okay, so timelines. How do you get from now to your time as a student? Okay, so orientation is where you will sign up for everything that you do during your freshman year. So you will kind of finalize your class schedule. That'll be where you register for classes. You can sit down with us and SBS to talk about what your cost is, how much aid you're going to have, loan options, all those kind of things we can do at orientation. I'm going to send a link to the orientation website. If you haven't signed up for orientation now, please do. It doesn't cost anything to sign up. If you do attend orientation, it is something that is included on your fall bill. Okay, so it doesn't cost you anything to sign up for orientation. Pick your date now. You have a lot of days to pick. They're every 2 days, starting the last weekend of May, all the way up until about mid-August or so. So every 2 days for 2.5 months. So pick your dates. If you need to move it around, so say you pick your date and you're like, hey, that's the week I'm on vacation, you can move that around with the help of orientation services. But again, I sent that link in there. That's where you can go to pick your date, sign up for orientation. I think within like 48 hours of you showing up, you'll have to tell us how many guests you're going to bring with you. So if you're bringing parents or siblings or something with you to orientation, you'll have to know about that. But again, orientation, that's kind of where your time as a student will all kind of finalize for the fall. End of July is when we will send your actual bill. Okay, so your classes that you sign up for orientation, your dorm room, your meal plan. If you are bringing a car, your parking, that orientation fee, all those things are included in that bill, your actual bill, and you'll get that about the end of July or so. It's usually about a month before the first day of school. We will not have any financial aid on there. Okay, so when you get that bill at the end of July or so, it'll be a big scary number that doesn't have any aid. Even if you know you have all this different aid, all these different things that are going to pay to your bill, they're not going to be on there when we send that first bill to you. Okay. First week of August is when waivers will pay. So if you have any waivers, SBS will pay them then. And then 10 days before the first day of school is when all of the financial aid and scholarships will pay to your account. Okay, so you will get the bill, and then you'll have about 2.5 or 3 weeks before that financial aid pays. Any scholarships pay, all those kind of things. Don't freak out if that is the case that happens for everyone. We can't pay that any more than 10 days before the first day of school. That is a Department of Ed rule. So just know we get a million phone calls in those couple weeks like, hey, I have this bill. Why isn't my aid paid? Just know that we can't pay it any more than 10 days before the first day of school. So all 191 of you that are in here, you're not going to be part of those 10 million phone calls that we get during that time, right? Because we're learning about it today. So just know that you get that bill, and then the aid will pay a couple weeks later. No more than 10 days before the first day of school. So long as you've taken care of everything you need to, all that money is going to pay automatically. Nothing you need to do with all of that. 2 or 3 days later, so if you have more aid than what your bill is, then SBS will refund that remaining amount. If you have leftover costs, let's say you have a $10,000 bill and $6,000 in aid, you've got $4,000 left to cover for the fall semester. Those bills are due 3 days before the first day of class. You'll start getting calls and emails from Student Business Services saying, hey, if you don't pay this, we're going to kick you out of your classes. We don't want that to happen. Okay, so SBS has some payment plans. We'll talk about those in a second. If you don't sign up for those payment plans, then that bill is due 3 days before the first day of class. Okay, and again, that's everything that's included on there: your tuition, your dorm, your meal plan, your parking, orientation fees, whatever else is on there. Just know that this is a pretty good estimate of your timeline. Again, all those dates are very specific. We just say 1 month before the first day of class, those kind of things. But you will get emails notifying you of all of these things. Students, if you're not in that TTU email address that you set up. Make sure that you get that thing open and you're checking it often, add it to your phone so you're getting those notifications, all those kind of things. But this is a pretty good timeline. That bill's always going to be 3 days before due 3 days before the first day of class. So in the fall and the spring, and then all 4 years of your time as a student, or however long you're here. So student business services is who will send your bill. Again, I put cost of attendance is not your bill. They will send you your bill about a month before the first day of school, usually mid to late July or so. And that's going to include anything that you sign up for. So just know when you see cost of attendance, you see transportation and books and supplies, those kind of things. Those are not going to be included in your bill. You're only getting billed for the things that you sign up for. So your classes, however many hours, your dorm room, meal plan, parking, orientation, whatever it may be. The one difference between your bill and cost of attendance is going to be that your dorm and meal plan costs are billed 60% in the fall and 40% in the spring. One day I'll be important enough to know why we do it that way. I don't know. Our SBS friends may be able to answer that for you, but just know that that's how that works. So again, your fall bill might be a little more than your spring bill, but know that it's all going to even out by the end of the year. And again, that SBS tab, Student Business Services tab, can be found in your Rater link. Student Business Services handles those waivers that we talked about earlier. Parents, if you have 529 college savings plans, they'll work with you on getting that money to you. Texas Tuition Promise Fund, Texas Tomorrow Promise Fund. There's 3 or 4 of these prepaid college service plans that are available. Things that you would have known about a long time ago. All those things are processed by our Student Business Service office. The big thing is going to be their payment plan. So in that example we talked about earlier, you have a $10,000 fall bill, you have $6,000 in aid, leaving you $4,000 to cover over your fall semester. If you don't sign up for a payment plan, all $4,000 is due on that day, 3 days before the first day of class. There are a couple of different payment plan options for you if you do have that leftover amount. So let's say you do have $4,000 left to pay, you can sign up for the budget payment plan. Cuts that $4,000 into 4 $1,000 payments. First one due 3 days before the first day of class, so just that first payment. And then 1 in September, 1 in October, 1 in November, right? So your remaining cost divided up over 4, and then again in the spring. So January, February, March, April in the spring. Emergency payment plan cuts the remaining amount into 3 parts, pushes that first payment due date back a month. So say you're waiting on some money to come through, like you're working a job and you don't have your paycheck yet and the bill is due tomorrow. This emergency payment plan will allow you to push that first payment due date back to September. It's still the same $4,000 or whatever it may be in the example that we're using, but you only have 3 payments to make in September, October, November, and again in the spring, that'll be February, March, and April. But again, those payment plans make life a lot easier if you are paying those costs out of pocket, cuts them into the equal parts, shoots them into different time periods so you have some time to mow some more lawns or however you're going to pay for that at school, right? But again, Student Business Services, they're right here next to the financial aid office. So if you ever have questions, you can come up here and ask us. We're right next to each other. We work very closely with Student Business Services because we give the money that you earn through the FAFSA, all the scholarships to our Student Business Services office to pay that bill. So who to contact for help? That walk-up counter we talked about, that is where us and SBS live. You can come get some questions answered there. If you're on campus, 3rd floor, West Hall, open 9 to 4, Monday through Friday. So once you start here in August and you have some questions, you want to walk up and talk to us, you can meet us there. Phone calls, that financial aid phone number right there. I know a lot of you would rather email a person, your financial aid advisor. You all have a financial aid advisor based on your last name. That finaid.advisor email there is going to be the best way to reach us. As soon as you email that, it hits an inbox and it's automated and shoots right out to all the different advisors that you belong to. So say your last name starts with a certain letter, it sends out to your advisor based on that letter. But again, that email inbox is the best way to reach us. I know you'd rather email a first.last email, but that makes sure that we get that email to the right person as quickly as possible. Okay, and then the financial aid scholarship, and then that last one is our Red Rater Student Employment Center website. All those jobs for you freshmen are going to be posted on August 1st. So if you want to bookmark that, you move in August, all those jobs will be posted and ready for you to kind of start shopping your options around. that is all I have. We're gonna be in here answering your questions. Feel free to shoot them to us. We're gonna answer those. We'll be here for another 10 or 15 minutes or so. I think we're scheduled till 7. I think the webinar is gonna kick us out at 7. So thank you guys for joining us. Feel free to keep shooting your questions to us. If there are some repeat questions that we need to address, we can. But all this information will be it's been recorded, and we'll have it posted on that same place that you signed up. If you just Google TTU admissions webinars, the top portion is admissions. You scroll down, you'll see the financial aid ones, and again, you can view all those other ones. The scholarship one, kind of a financial aid overview. We kind of got in depth with FAFSA and some other things too. So there's a lot of different webinars there. I sent those in the chat. So go back and find those links. But again, feel free to send any questions our way. We're going to get those answered in the next 10, 15 minutes, 14 minutes. But thank you guys for coming. Hopefully we got some questions answered, make your life easier between now and when you start here, when we see you at orientation. All right, I see you. I think I've seen this a couple times on accepting scholarships. Presidential merit scholarships are not one that you have to accept. Those are automatically accepted. If you get one through your department, through your college, they may have a different requirement than what we require. So they may have an accept thing that you'll need to do, a thank you letter you may need to write, but again, you'll be able to see that in your RadarLink portal if you do need to accept it, if you do need to write a thank you letter. Who awarded that to you, your college or department, those kind of things. So you may need to reach out to get those questions answered. So yeah. If you do have scholarships to accept, the sooner you accept them, the better. Some departments will have certain dates. They will have communicated those again through that TTU email address. So if you haven't set that up, make sure that you have. But yeah, if you've been offered scholarships that require acceptance, they should have emailed that to you through your TTU email address. You should have some things that show action needed within your RadarLink account, all those kind of things. But again, if you have any questions, let us know. We can talk you through what those need to be specific to your scholarships, your account, those kind of things. So absolutely. We have a question here about the questions and answers being on the recording. They will not be just the recording itself, what you saw, what you heard from me. The questions will not be. So, but again, our email is up here. If you have questions that didn't get answered, shoot those to us. Your advisor can answer those before you come in August or come in at orientation over the summer, and hopefully get those questions answered for you. But again, shoot them our way. And we can answer those notes now, but they're not going to be included in the webinar. All right, we have some in the chat. I'm gonna try to attack here. So, what if we don't accept the loan and we need it later on? That will stay offered for all year long. You can accept it anytime you want to through the year. It's going to be offered to you. We're never going to take that away from you. It's given to you. It's something that you are eligible for. So if you don't accept it now, or say you decline it now and you need it in the spring, just shoot us an email. We can reoffer that to you so you can log in and accept it, do the requirements that you may need before that can pay. But yeah, if you don't need it now, don't feel like you have to accept it now. It'll be available to you all year long. And again, that's just for the academic year, so fall, spring, and summer. So the exclamation point for entrance counseling for the direct loan MPN, those are things that if you do accept loans, those are requirements that you have to complete before those things pay. Those will not be live for you until May or June. So I know you'll have something that says missing requirements. You'll be able to do those over the summer, but don't think that you have to stress to get those done ASAP. You'll be able to do those. It takes a couple of days once you do it for it to get to us. So again, if that's still something that you have at orientation, we can show you where to do it. But don't feel like you have to do it now. It's nothing that is going to hold back any of your aid right now or affect any of the aid that you're eligible for right now. You have plenty of time. Getting a lot of questions in the chat. Feel free to shoot those to the Q&A. It's a lot easier for us to address those there. The chat kind of bounces around and is available to some rather than others. So if you do have questions that we haven't answered yet, feel free to shoot them to the Q&A function rather than the chat function. A lot easier for us to answer them there. All right, we have a question about where you go to view the financial offers. So RadarLink, you log into RadarLink, just radarlink.ttu.edu. It'll get you to this screen. It'll look like this on here on the left. There'll be a lot of information on there. The one that you need is going to be that My Tech tab on the left. And it'll bring up this screen here, Student Financial and Scholarships. You'll click that. It'll bring up this menu here on the right. View and accept aid package. And then it'll get you to this screen. Make sure you're in the right academic aid year. So if you're coming in the fall, it's going to be 25-26. And then you'll click that offer tab right there at the top. So RadarLink, My Tech, and the Financial Aid and Scholarship tab. And we'll get you to here to where you can go find what we have sent to you already. This offer tab is going to be where you can find that. We have some residency questions. Residency coming into your freshman year is going to be determined by our admissions friends, our Office of Admissions. They can answer that for you. I know you have one. Like I've only lived in the state for a certain amount of time. It's going to be right at the amount of time that you have to be here to be determined a Texas resident. Our admissions office leading into your freshman year will be the ones that can answer those residency questions for you. They'll be able to update that for you if something's incorrect, or they can answer those questions for you between now and when you start in August. After that, it kind of flips over to our registrar office. But between now and when you start, your admissions counselor will be the one that can help you with that. That's a tricky thing, and I don't want to speak wrong. They know it better than I do. So feel free to reach out to them, and they can answer those questions for you about residency. Those can be tricky, similar to our military and veterans programs questions, some of those things. But glad we've got people to answer those. All right, this is a question that we get often here about graduating with a bunch of dual credit hours, graduating with associates. If you're coming straight from high school, you graduate high school, you start here in August. We are going to consider you a first year student, so an incoming freshman. A lot of you are going to have a lot of dual credit hours, associate's degrees, those kind of things. If you're bringing those with you, you're still going to fall into our freshman merit program. You're going to be considered an incoming freshman when you start here. But all of those hours that you're bringing with you are going to check off boxes on those degree plans. So instead of taking freshman classes when you get here, if you've already knocked all those out, you'll move straight to your sophomore or even junior level scholarships. So for incoming freshmen with a bunch of dual credit hours, there's not like a financial gain, a scholarship or something like that for you. But those are all classes that you are not paying for at Texas Tech. All those things are going to be classes that you're not paying for. So you can skip English 1 and 2, you get to jump straight to English 3 or whatever it may be specific to your program. But that is a question that we get very often. So yeah, if you're coming straight from high school to Tech, no matter the dual credit hours, we're still going to consider you for admissions, for dorm room, those kind of things, for scholarships, all through that, through your, you're going to be considered a freshman. So. The link to the recording, we do not have it available now. We will upload it to our the same place that you signed up for this. So in that, I think I sent that link earlier in the chat. I can send that to you. But on our, if you just search T2 admissions webinars, it'll get you to that webpage. Down at the bottom is the financial aid one. The top is the admissions one. Down at the bottom will be the financial aid ones. We'll have that posted the next day or two. These recordings are really long. It takes a while to update these or upload them. So the link is not available now, but it'll be posted on that webpage where you signed up and registered for this in the next couple of days or so. All right. Looks like we got all those questions answered. Thank you guys for coming. If you have any questions, again, this email here is going to be the best place for you. Shoot some questions to us. We can answer all those for you or get you to the right people if you have questions for others around us. We can get you to the right place. But thank you guys for coming today. Thanks for asking your questions. Hopefully this was beneficial for you. And hopefully we'll see you at orientation and see you in the fall here. Reckham, see you in August.